Big Daddy Ape Club. On the 11th of January of 2022, scammers managed to pull off one of the largest NFT rug pulls in the history of the Solana blockchain. This scam was particularly big and outrageous because the project had resorted to a company called Civic to verify their real-world identities and build trust with the Big Daddy Ape Club community. As the collection was meant to have only 2,222 pieces, was real-world verified by a legitimate company, and had a big following, collectors rushed to mint as many apes as they could, and each time they attempted it, one Solana was extracted. In the end, the scammers managed to run away with $1.3 million, or 9,136 Solana, and got no NFT in return, a hard rug pull. The company, Civic, stated that it was working with authorities and cooperating as necessary, but until now, no new information has come out. Eternal Beings. On the 27th of September of 2021, Lil Uzi scammed almost 2 million out of NFT collectors. Eternal Beings was the project promoted by the rapper Lil Uzi on his Twitter account. The 11,111 collection of tattooed aliens similar to the rapper was sold for 2.5 Solana each, and it sold out all of its pieces for about $1.5 million. When taking into account this amount and the royalties that were collected from holder sales, the total amount is estimated to be $1.9 million. Could Lil Uzi be using this money to fund a new diamond for his forehead? Lil Uzi championed the project by posting to his 8.5 million followers on Twitter that the project would easily reach 6 Solana, which would effectively double people's money. As soon as the project sold out, in fear of being associated with the project, Lil Uzi immediately deleted all the posts about the NFT, which can still be seen in the Wayback Machine. One of the promises of the project was to do a live performance with Lil Uzi, and holders would have a backstage access, which of course never happened. Also, if you have liked the content so far, please like and subscribe the video. Thank you so much. Blockverse. It was on the 23rd of January of 2022 that Blockverse sold its collection to eager collectors, expecting a game on the blockchain built on top of Minecraft with pay-to-earn mechanics. Blockverse sold out in less than 10 minutes, but less than 24 hours later, all the project's socials were suddenly deleted. Website, Discord server, game server, and most importantly the collector's money, all gone. 5 days after the mint, the team released a statement where they claimed that the reason why they decided to end the project was because they were getting harassed and threatened of being doxxed, that they panic deleted everything and they always had the plan to return. Despite the message, not many collectors were convinced and replied with a demand that the team dox themselves, which means to reveal their real-world identities, hand over the project and return part of the funds that were raised from the holders. In the end, after a few weeks, there are no more Twitter updates and everything else remained offline. Baller Ape Club. This 5,000 NFT collection was sold at a price of 2 Solana each, which totaled about $2 million at the time. Immediately after the sale, the project owners deleted their website, Twitter and Discord accounts, effectively leaving no social media related to the project, in hopes that no one could use the history on those channels to find them. Unluckily for the team, the United States Justice Department announced criminal charges against a person called Leon Tuan, a 26-year-old Vietnamese national, for promoting the project, along with 5 others related to numerous other crypto schemes. Tuan is currently accused of stealing $2.6 million from investors and is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. This is currently the largest NFT scam ever charged. Investigators also found that Tuan and his team laundered money by chain hopping, converting the coin to another and moving funds across multiple blockchains while using decentralized swaps to avoid detection. If convicted, Tuan could get up to 40 years in prison. Evolved Apes Inc. It was on the 25th of September of 2021 that a project described as a collection of 10,000 unique NFTs trapped inside a lawless land ended up foiling thousands of collectors. Evolved Apes Inc. did in fact release a collection of 10,000 pieces that went on to be published on the NFT marketplace OpenSea. But just a few days after selling out, the team's communication started being sparse and erratic. The project promised a fighting game using the Evolved Ape characters, but all that people got were empty promises instead, and in just a week, the team completely vanished. The damage? According to estimates including the mint price and royalties collected, the team ran off with around $2.7 million. With the official Twitter, Discord and website now gone, members of the community took it upon themselves to investigate further, and they uncovered that the artists that had designed the pieces hadn't been paid in full, and winners of giveaways never received their prizes. One member of the community decided to fight back and stated that they would become Fight Back Apes, fighting as a community against their evil ape. Animoon. It was with promises of a play-to-earn NFT game that Animoon was born. Claiming an NDA signed with none other than Pokemon itself, a secret project in the works with Netflix, $2,500 allocated monthly for each of the holders of a legendary Animoon NFT, Jordan shoes and gullible collectors, soon Animoon was selling out 9,999 pieces for about $600 each in January of 2022. It was even promoted by none other than Jake Paul.
It's great to be a part of this project. I love the designs inspired by Pokemon, the whole 9 yards. Me, personally, I'm going to try to get a legendary during the public mint. But y'all better not miss this. Be ready for the mint.
2 months later, by March, an announcement emerged on the project's Discord server, mentioning that the Jordan shoes were now available by filling a form, but they were never delivered. Soon enough, in April, the team changed the $2,500 monthly allocation to be a percentage of the income of the game, and announced a collaboration with Bandai Namco itself, publisher of Tekken, Pac-Man, Naruto, and many other famous games. With diminishing communication by the Animoon team, soon they stopped all communication and cashed out all the money raised to Binance and KuCoin, which are exchanges which you can use to cash out to a real bank. After delaying as much as possible, the team finally vanished, nuking the Twitter and website along with it. In total, including royalties, the project is estimated to walk away with over $6 million. By July of 2022, holders of an Animoon NFT were left with only about $34 and promises of a class action lawsuit against the team. Pixelmon. No list would be complete without the iconic Pixelmon. While Pixelmon isn't necessarily a rug pull, it most certainly is a cash grab, and the fact that it raised so much money is absolutely nuts. The project claims to be an open-world RPG NFT game. Now, when thinking of an open-world RPG, you probably think of World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, maybe even Final Fantasy, maybe even the legendary Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption, Breath of the Wild, or even GTA. Well, Pixelmon is nothing of the sort, and actually looks, well, ridiculous. The RPG game seems to be drawing inspiration from classics such as Pokemon or Digimon, where you can train a creature, trade it with others, fight and evolve them, in the elusive metaverse. With the dream of a new Pokemon game based on the trending NFTs and the metaverse, the project quickly started growing in popularity. The Twitter page attracted more than 200,000 followers with promises by its owner Martin Van Blurk, aka Cyber, of team members having worked for Activision and Blizzard. The few details released of the game's development were overlooked, and it was on the 7th of February of 2022 that collectors paid for the token, at the time, only with placeholder images, through a Dutch auction starting at 3 Ethereum, which was about $9,000 at the time, and dropped by 0.1 Ethereum every 10 minutes until they sold out. In the end, the NFTs sold between 2.4 and 3 Ethereum each, which amounted to a maximum of about $9,000 at the time per NFT, and raised a whopping $70 million from the sale. Absolutely insane. After the reveal of the NFT images on the 26th of February, removing the placeholder images, many holders took it to Twitter to express their discontent with its apparent bad quality. With a growing discontentment and memes being spread on social media, prices started falling quickly, and as of August 2022, they're down from $9,000 to about $250, an $8,750 maximum loss per item bought. Martin, the owner of the project, later acknowledged that the reveal was unacceptable, explaining that what they had prepared in-game differed significantly from what was presented in the NFT.
It's very premature to refer to losses or gains prior to the game actually being delivered. Despite not delivering on the artwork, our focus is the game, and we are fully committed and intending to, in fact, potentially over-deliver on that promise of the game.
I would like to apologize on behalf of myself and Pixelmon. It's been a very difficult time. We have been receiving countless threats in real life and on Twitter. Unfortunately, a refund isn't possible from our side. However, what we plan to do is create the project that everyone signed up for.
However, while it was later revealed that even though the team claimed AAA artists, they had actually used Upwork, a freelancing website for the designs. Community members talked with one of the artists who claims to have only received $6,000 from all his work, less money than even one single NFT. Martin ended up revealing his real-life identity in an attempt to minimize the community's fears of him stealing all the raised funds. Following Martin's reveal, it was later uncovered that NFT scams were the only thing Martin was doing. It turns out that Martin had multiple failed ventures on Kickstarter too, a crowdfunding platform. One of Martin's Kickstarter ventures, Alter Watches, is a watch, that's basically it. It claims to be luxury quality at an affordable price, and it raised 15,675 New Zealand dollars, and supposedly it delivered. Then we have Psycho Chickens, and it raised 73,952 New Zealand dollars, and it is a card game where you start with 3 cards face down, and each turn you must draw a new card face down and flip and play one of them. You must do what the flipped card says, which can steal someone's card or protect you from someone stealing your cards, for example. However, if the card you flipped is a chicken, you automatically lose the game. Judging by the comments, most people, if anyone, never seem to have actually received the game. Then we have Slap the Deck, where you distribute all the cards from the deck between the players and wear a foam hand. One by one, each player flips a card in his deck, increasing a counter by 1. If the number that is printed on the card drawn is the same as the count that the players are on, they must use the foam hand to slap the deck. The last player to do so gets all the cards drawn. The first player to get rid of all his cards wins. Martin ended up not meeting his goal by about $1,000 and claimed that he was very disappointed with how it turned out, and that he needed $50,000 all along, although the campaign only requested $6,000. One person comments, "I find it very hard to believe that you underestimated your costs by 500%, and while I appreciate that it didn't take the money and run, I'm extremely disappointed." Martin has already used some of his Pixelmon funds to purchase multiple blue chip NFTs, and with such a track record, we'll have to wait and see if Pixelmon is ever released.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.